everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how I preserve small wet specimens. I get this question a lot and I've always told people that there are a lot of tutorials out there already on this, but I just keep getting the question, so I thought I may as well just show you. I'm going to be showing you how I preserve a small mouse and a king prawn. Things you will need is rubbing alcohol. I think it needs to be at least like 50 or 70% upwards, or you can use formalin or formaldehyde if you have access to it. I don't have access to any of those, so what I use is methylated spirits. The next thing that you will need is a jar. I generally pick a couple of jars that sort of vary in size just in case a specimen is bigger or smaller than what I first thought it was. And then you will also need some rubber gloves. And the last thing you'll need, of course, is your specimen. So first I'm going to be focusing on this king prawn that I bought from the butcher. Also, I just want to say, if your specimen is frozen, which mine has been for a couple of days, you don't need to defrost it before preserving it, you can just put it straight in. So first I'm just unscrewing the lid on the jar, and now I'm just pretty much putting the specimen in the jar. Not much to it, gently of course. And this obviously doesn't take much fussing around with, since it's just a prawn, you can't really manipulate its limbs or anything. Now I'm going to take the metho. I actually take off my gloves before I put the metho into the jar because I don't want to get like dead stuff hands on it, because I might use it for other things. So I'm just really gently pouring it on, and as you can see, the legs and stuff on the prawn are already flying off, which is why I don't recommend trying to preserve one of these, because all of the limbs just fall off and it's ridiculous. Also, you'll notice when you pour in the solution, you can see a lot of that matter comes off of the animal. It's coming off a lot more with the prawn than it would with the usual animal, but usually no matter what you preserve, there's going to be a little bit of matter like that at first, and eventually it'll just drift down to the bottom, and then you change the solution again when that's all settled, and then it won't look so gross. So there's my little prawn, and as he defrosts, he actually sort of slouches down a bit more in the jar, which you'll see later. And as you can see, I'm not handling the jar or anything with my dirty gloves, because I noticed some people do that, and I don't know, I think it should be pointed out that it's best not to, because then you get dead hands on the jar. So now that the prawn wet specimen is complete, I'm going to show you the same technique again on this little mouse. I know it looks wet, it's because it died by drowning, which no, I didn't do, and then it was frozen for a while, so it just looks kind of permanently wet. That's my little mouse, and it's still a bit frozen, so it's quite stiff still. So here's the jar I'm going to put it in, and I actually put on clean gloves before touching it, just so you know. Now I'm just gently kind of sliding it into the jar and just sort of posing it a little bit so it looks nice and I can see all the bits that I want to see of it. Also, I'm just trying to fix up his ears because they got a bit bent. And his tail again. Now he's ready for the metho. There he is in the jar. And again, I'm just gently pouring it in. So just so you know, with small specimens this is all you have to do, but with bigger ones you'll need to start doing things like injecting the solution into certain parts of their bodies, so it preserves on the inside as well. And you also need to get some of the solution into their stomach, which I could have done with these little ones as well, like particularly the mouse, but I didn't have stuff on hand because I know some people use a straw, they put it in the mouth and kind of get it down into the stomach and then pour the solution in, which I know sounds kind of freaky, but it just helps to preserve the insides, because otherwise they're going to rot on the inside and start floating, and it's just going to be a disgusting mess that you do not want to deal with. So here are my two specimens, and you can see all that matter already that's on the bottom of the jar, and it's just falling apart as I move it. I knew prawns were fragile, but I didn't know they were that fragile. can also do this with small birds, with small rodents, and teeny tiny kittens if they're small enough, and baby bunnies. And you can also do it with reptiles. I also use this method for muscles and organs like hearts and brains and eyeballs and stuff like that. You can do it with marine creatures. You can try it with things like amphibians and frogs, but you could have mixed results because of the air that's trapped in them. Just experiment a little bit and keep an eye on it in the first, I guess, week or so, especially if it's not a small specimen like a mouse. Like, you can try with big ones, sometimes it'll work, or it'll work for a while, but just keep an eye on it if it's a bigger one and you're not sure. That's how I preserve my wet specimens. I hope this was informative and that you enjoyed and it answers all of your questions. And if you want to know anything else about dead things and what I do with them and how to do certain stuff with them, just let me know. Even if you have a video request or anything like that to do with dead things or to do with anything else really, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. So thank you for watching and I will see you next time.